I speak now with Dennis-Kenji Kipker, the Research Director at the Cyber Intelligence Institute. Welcome back to the program, Dennis. Now, this is a $200 billion industry built on engagement. If the jury outlaws the dopamine loop, does the entire business model essentially collapse?
Yeah, so frankly speaking, even if a jury were to reject this dopamine loop style design in this Los Angeles trial, the engagement-based model likely wouldn't collapse so much as get repriced and re-engineered by these companies. So platforms can still monetize attention through ads, subscriptions, commerce, and creator ecosystems, but they may be forced in some way to shift from this maximized time spent to safer by design engagement. And this, of course, would be more friction, stronger age gating, different ranking signals, and clear warnings. This was also raising costs and potentially lowering margins of these networks. So in my opinion, the real business risk is not that engagement disappears, but that liability and compliance moves from the periphery to the core of the business model.
So how could cases like this change the business model as we know behind the social media platforms that we use every day?
Yeah, so a case like this can push platforms away from this maximized time on app and towards a more proof you are safe by design, which would change both product and monetization. So engagement algorithms may need to be redesigned to reduce this compulsive use feature. That means infinite scroll, autoplay, aggressive notifications, and also to add stronger age assurance, which we are still lacking, time limits, and also possibly some nighttime protection, so that all in all moves that can lower ad inventory, increase engineering, and these compliance costs I mentioned, and make growth of these social networks slower but less legally risky.
And what would a change to algorithms mean for the broader advertising revenue and growth of these tech companies?
Yeah, generally speaking, so if courts face these platforms to dial back engagement optimized ranking, and this is what we are talking about, especially for minors, advertising revenue, for example, would likely take a hit in the short term because fewer sessions, shorter time span, and less precise targeting can reduce impressions and also click-through rates, while engineering compliance and monitoring costs rise for these companies. So growth could also slow as viral mechanics are constrained, product changes add friction, but the impact, in my opinion, wouldn't be uniform. So platforms could partially offset it by shifting toward higher quality ad formats. That means contextual, intent-based ads, commerce, and subscription revenue, and safer engagements that's stickier over a long time. And the bigger change is that the cost of growth increases and some of the easiest engagement gains, the low-hanging fruits, become legally or reputationally too risky to pursue anymore.
And how could tighter rules on child safety reshape competition within the global tech sector?
So there will be definitely a chance that stricter safety rules can materially reshape this competition by raising these fixed costs of compliance. That means age assurance, safer recommender systems, monitoring, audits, documentation, which large incumbents can also absorb more easily than smaller platforms, and also potentially increasing consolidation. And at the same time, clear standards can create openings for challengers that differentiate on safety-first design, privacy, preserving targeting, and trusted use products. While the global divergence in these networks, so that means EU, US, other regions, can also fragment product roadmaps, advantage firms with the scale to localize features and policies more quickly than other ones.
And there are currently 2,000 lawsuits pending. Could this become the big tobacco moment where one loss triggers $1 trillion settlement wave?
Yeah, it could become some kind of big tobacco-style inflection point, but one early loss doesn't automatically translate into $1 trillion settlement cascade. So the tobacco waves was driven by a broad, coordinated set of governmental claims, a long paper trail on concealment, and a settlement structure designed to resolve massive public costs, whereas these social media cases we currently see are being tested in bellwether trials across a sprawling docket of roughly about 2,000 suits, and will likely turn on narrower harder to prove questions of causation, duty, and platform protection. So a plaintiff win would mainly raise the expected cost of litigation, as I mentioned, and the pressure to settle potentially in the tens of billions over time, but a true trillion scenario would usually require more repeated scalable verdicts.
Dennis-Kenji Kipker from the Cyber Intelligence Institute, thank you